I know while we're away, we can't do science experiments, so I took some pictures of past science experiments and pictures that I found off of the web and them in a slide for you to go with this week's theme on food. So we're going to talk about how to grow a lima bean seed. And if you do have any lima beans, you can try to experiment for yourself. If you don't have any lima beans, you don't have to worry. Nothing's being turned in. When things get better again, this is a great at-home as well as at school science experiment for everybody to explore whenever they have time and whenever they're ready. Here is a picture of the inside of a lima bean seed. So when you are able to have a lima bean seed, if you cut it open or have your grown-ups help you cut one open, this is what you'll see on the inside. You do see a spot that's slightly different shade of color, and that's the embryo. The cotyledon is the part of the seed, the inside of it, like the food of the seed. And the seed coat protects the seed on the outside. So if you take your lima bean and you put the lima bean or a couple, 2 or 3 in a baggie with a damp paper towel, you could put them in the same baggie. You could put them in several different baggies with paper towels. But this is a way to grow it, just a damp paper towel, not soaking wet, just a little bit of water. And that'll be the water that the seed needs to grow. I've also seen people do them with cotton balls. You just take cotton balls and damp them and put just a little bit of water again and put them in with the seeds. And if you put them in different baggies, you can experiment more than one seed, and then you'll definitely get one of them to grow. And if one of them doesn't grow and starts to mold or anything, it won't infect the other seeds if they've separated in separate baggies. Put your baggie or baggies in a window or somewhere inside where they can get plenty of sunshine. You don't really want to leave your baggie outside in case we get big winds or rain. It might mess with the seed. I know they're in the baggie, but at the same time, if it's really windy around here, it could blow away. So you want to kind of keep it inside somewhere, safe inside. I taped mine to the window before of the classroom. I don't know if you can tape yours to a window sometime or not at home, or just leave them in a window sill, unless you have a cat. Your cat might like them. I don't know. Sometimes cats do that. Check on them every day. Dampen the paper towel again if it gets dry. Seeds need light and water to grow. In a couple of days, you should see some sprouting like the picture below. So when you start to see this, you know your seed's doing really well. But you've got to keep the damp paper towel. We check on it every day, just like we had science with the water and looking at when the water evaporated from the cup. You have to keep checking on it. You have to check on this more than the water evaporating, because if it doesn't get water, it'll die. It won't make it through it. Keep checking the chart and chart your progress. One day you're going to see something like this. So it's sprout a little bit more and it's starting to, those little white things coming up are the roots, and it's starting to want to root somewhere. And that's the sign that it's getting to be too much for that paper towel. Because if you're not careful at this point, it'll try to take root on that paper towel or on those cotton balls. You don't want it to root to the paper towel or cotton balls, because it's really hard to unattach the roots and keep the lima beans safe. And it'll stop growing right there if you don't transplant it to something else. When it starts to grow leaves, it's time to replant. Take a glass jar and replant your lima bean, or you could use a vase, anything you want to get your lima bean seed to grow. I usually do this part when it does start to grow the roots, like the last page. I start to try to transplant it then so it won't root to the paper towel. Sometimes you could let it reach the paper towel and stick it in the glass jar. Sometimes they'll make it, sometimes they won't. If you try to unattach them though and they're rooted to the paper towel, they probably won't grow into leaves. But definitely when it has leaves on it, you really want to get it someplace else other than a baggie then, or it won't make it through it either. When it gets too big for a jar or the vase, that's when you replant it in a big container, or you start trying to plant it outside. And by then, hopefully the weather warm enough to plant outside. So you'll hopefully get your own little lima bean seed growing. And finally, we said it's fun to grow lima beans at home and in the classroom. I did this project in class one year, and the one kid, he was such a great plant grower. He really had a green thumb. A green thumb means you're really good with plants. I'm not very good at plants, so his idea was beat Mrs. Gross at plant growing, and he was easily able to do that because I'm not good with plants anyway. A lot of them die on me. So if you have time, maybe not this week, maybe another week, you could try to plant it. And if whenever we do get back to school, if you ever have a plant and you grew your own lima bean plant at home, you can come in and show the class, and you probably outgrew your teacher. Yes, that's true. And this one kid, though, his grew up really big. He won a contest with his even, because they have lima bean contests around. So have fun growing lima bean seeds, and if you can't, that's okay. Just watch the video and learn how to grow your own lima beans at home when you have time. Thank you.